Investigations continue in kidnapping and murder of Ezekiel Smith. Crime Chief Wendell Blanham addressed the ongoing investigations into the kidnapping and murder of 22-year-old Ezekiel Smith, a resident of Timehri, but refrained from providing specific details to avoid compromising the case. Smith's body was discovered over 2 weeks ago after he had been reported missing. Although he died from a gunshot wound to the head, the Guyana police force has not released any further information regarding the murder or the status of the investigation. Family members reported receiving a call from an unknown individual demanding $9 million for Smith's safe return just days before his body was found dumped on Princes Street in Georgetown. The family ultimately did not raise the ransom. When questioned about the investigation, Blanham stated, "At this time, I do not want to divulge certain information pertaining to the probe. I do not wish to compromise the investigations. As the investigation progresses, we will provide further updates to the media." He was also asked whether the investigation includes any potential links to an attempt to smuggle drugs out of Guyana via the airport, but he maintained that the investigations are ongoing. Reports indicate that Smith had left his job at the airport 2 weeks prior to his death. Police sources suggest that he may have been contacted to facilitate the transport of a drug package onto a flight and, upon failing to do so, did not return the item to its owners. Family members are calling for a thorough investigation, expressing their confusion over the reasons behind Smith's murder and seeking justice for their loss. Businessman remanded after fatal accident involving 16-year-old. On Friday, businessman Paul Mahabal, 33, was remanded following charges related to the tragic death of 16-year-old Kimberly Jones from Bel Air Village. Mahabal appeared before Magistrate Michelle Mathias at the Weldad Magistrates Court, where he faced charges of failing to provide assistance and failing to stop after the accident. The incident occurred on Tuesday, July 8, 2025, around 9:20 p.m., when Kimberly was crossing the Bel Air public road. At that time, Mahabal was driving a car identified as PAF 2130, traveling west along the southern side of the road. Reports indicate that the front right side of his vehicle struck Kimberly, causing her to be thrown 74 feet before coming to a stop. Police Prosecutor Sergeant Garfield Edwards opposed bail, arguing that Mahabal did not stop to assist Kimberly following the collision. Edwards stated that Mahabal passed both the Weldad and Mahakoni police stations without reporting the accident and continued driving until he was apprehended at a roadblock in Mahakoni. The prosecutor also expressed concerns that Mahabal poses a flight risk. In light of the evidence presented, Magistrate Mathias ordered Mahabal to be taken into custody. The case has been scheduled for disclosure at the Fort Wellington Magistrates Court on July 16, 2025. Guyana Police Force responds to Attorney Nigel Hughes on court evidence. The Guyana Police Force, GPF, has issued a statement responding to comments made by Attorney-at-Law Nigel Hughes regarding the ongoing court matter of Police versus Marlon da Silva, concerning the murder of Kenesha Vaughn. Hughes, in a Facebook post, claimed that Magistrate Judy Latchman ordered all evidence to be provided to both the court and the defense by May 12, 2025. He further alleged that the GPF had failed to comply with this order, suggesting that additional statements were provided as late as June 26, 2025. In its response, the GPF clarified that a senior state counsel at the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, Chambers confirmed that Hughes' request made on April 30, 2025, was fulfilled, with the requested documents being obtained by Hughes' law office 3 days ahead of the magistrate's deadline, on May 9, 2025. The GPF emphasized that Hughes' assertions were misleading and stated that he attempted to mislead the public regarding the timeline of evidence submission. Furthermore, the GPF noted that an associate of Hughes recently contacted a police witness, seeking an adjournment due to the absence of their senior in court. Additionally, the GPF reiterated that the case is not being prosecuted by the police but rather by Hughes, who was granted a fiat to act for the prosecution as of March 17, 2025. The GPF plans to raise concerns with the DPP regarding the revocation of the fiat, citing Hughes' inability to effectively advance the prosecution of this serious matter. The GPF concluded that the current state of affairs in this capital murder case is unacceptable. Tragic passing of Matthew Zaman, 15, following years of care. Matthew Zaman, who had been paralyzed since a motor vehicle accident in December 2017, passed away early Wednesday morning at the age of 15. Matthew was just 8 years old when a minibus struck him along the east coast of Demerara, leaving him completely paralyzed. His mother, Bibi Shanaz Khan, became his full-time caregiver, sacrificing her job as a domestic worker to attend to his extensive medical needs. Following the accident, Matthew was unable to move, speak, or breathe independently. He relied on a feeding tube and tracheostomy for all basic bodily functions and was continuously ventilated. Doctors later diagnosed him with irreversible brain damage, suggesting that long-term therapy would yield only limited improvement. Despite the grim prognosis, Matthew made some progress through regular at-home physiotherapy provided by the Ptolemy Reed Rehabilitation Center. He eventually regained minimal mobility, able to sit upright briefly with assistance and flex his limbs slightly. The driver responsible for the accident, Andrew Albert, was charged with dangerous driving and initially released on bail. Tragically, he died in another accident 5 years later before the legal proceedings could be resolved. Matthew's mother expressed her frustration over the lack of accountability in the case. "I took care of him for years and never got any justice until the driver crashed up and died," she lamented. She reflected on the difficult path ahead, stating, "I am praying to Allah to hold me up and keep me strong." This October he would have celebrated his 16th birthday. Matthew Zaman's passing marks the end of an 8-year struggle for both him and his family. He will be laid to rest on Sunday, leaving behind a legacy of resilience amidst profound challenges. Guyanese man alleges kidnapping by police. Claims illegal detention and transfer to Suriname. Royston Drake's production reports. A Guyanese man, Raymond David, is alleging that members of the Guyana police force kidnapped him, unlawfully detaining him and subsequently transporting him across the border into Suriname without adhering to proper extradition procedures. Speaking from what appears to be a prison facility, David recounted that the incident took place on June 18 when he was invited to the Brickdam police station in Georgetown. He claims he was informed that he was wanted for murder in Suriname. David alleges that police officers conducted searches at both his residence and restaurant, seizing personal documents in the process. After being held in police custody for some time, David states he was transported to Springlands, where he was handed over to Surinamese authorities. David has retained attorney-at-law Dexter Todd, who is now leading the legal efforts in this matter. Todd asserted that the proper extradition laws were not followed and emphasized that no formal request was made for David's extradition. The Guyana police force has been contacted for a comment but has yet to respond. The situation raises serious concerns about legal processes and the rights of individuals in custody. Wanted armed robbery suspect Rakamim Nicholas apprehended. Detectives from the Criminal Investigations Department's Anti-Crime Patrol apprehended Rakamim Nicholas, a 21-year-old suspect wanted in connection with a multi-million-dollar armed robbery at the Fantasy Game Lounge. The incident occurred on June 22, 2025. Nicholas was arrested last evening at approximately 7 p.m. at the KK Villa on Lime Street, Workinrust. He was spotted standing at the entrance when police arrived. A police wanted bulletin had been issued for him prior to his capture. During a search, officers found Nicholas in possession of a cell phone and $20,950 in cash. Further investigation led them to room 9 of the KK Villa, where they discovered a Glock 19 security firearm, believed to be the weapon used during the robbery, concealed in a black haversack. The firearms magazine contained 15 live rounds of ammunition. Additional items found in the haversack included Nicholas's passport and a copy of the firearms security license. Nicholas remains in police custody as investigations continue into the robbery and related activities. Former PNC General Secretary Dawn Hastings Williams announces support for Win Party. Dawn Hastings Williams, the former General Secretary of the People's National Congress, PNC, has publicly declared her support for the We Invest in Nationhood, WIN, party, led by Azruddin Mohammed. In her statement, She emphasized the urgent need for effective leadership as Guyana prepares to advance on the global stage. Hastings-Williams criticized past leadership, stating that the country has been plagued by ineptitude and deficient leadership, which has negatively impacted national development and the lives of its citizens. She highlighted the struggles faced by many Guyanese, pointing out systemic neglect, discrimination, and a lack of justice that have persisted for too long. She noted that there is a strong desire among the populace for change, stating, "Guyanese have been forced into submission to a system of government. Enough is enough." In endorsing the Win Party, Hastings-Williams expressed confidence in its vision and policies, which she believes promote genuine leadership and equitable distribution of the nation's wealth. She described Azruddin Mohammed's vision as truly inspiring, particularly after reviewing the party's manifesto, which outlines vigorous poverty reduction strategies. As an indigenous woman, she emphasized her commitment to the interests of all Guyanese, regardless of political affiliation, religion, or ethnicity. "I am therefore giving my full support to a team and a movement that will invest in nationhood," she stated. Hastings-Williams concluded by affirming her belief that Win is well equipped to lead Guyana into a prosperous future, wishing blessings for the nation. Jaipal Sharma joins Alliance for Change as candidate for upcoming elections. Jaipal Sharma, a former member of the A Partnership for National Unity (APNU) coalition, announced on Friday that he has joined the Alliance for Change (AFC) and will be running as a candidate in the upcoming general and regional elections scheduled for September 1, 2025. At an AFC press conference, Sharma expressed his enthusiasm for the party's leadership, stating, "I'm so pleased to be in his leadership because I personally believe that the best of the presidential candidates, including the incumbent, is Mr. Nigel Hughes." Nigel Hughes, the leader of the AFC, welcomed Sharma, describing him as a valuable addition to the party's strategy to create a broad coalition of interests aimed at advancing the country. Sharma previously served as a minister within the Ministry of Finance during the APNU plus AFC government. His party, the Justice for All Party, JFAP, was part of the APNU coalition. Although he resigned from politics in 2020, he later formed the Equal Rights and Justice Party, ERJP, and rejoined the APNU coalition in 2021. Additionally, businesswoman Carrie Gravazandabart was introduced as another new candidate for the AFC during the press conference. She emphasized her commitment to advocating for women, particularly in the business sector. The AFC continues to bolster its candidate list as the elections approach, aiming to address various interests and issues within the Guyanese community. Aubrey Norton outlines APNU's plans for upcoming elections. Aubrey Norton, the presidential candidate for the A Partnership for National Unity, APNU, has unveiled his party's ambitious plans ahead of the upcoming general and regional elections, emphasizing that these initiatives are necessary, affordable, and sustainable. Norton stated that his plans include guaranteeing all households a livable income, controlling inflation, and reducing poverty. However, the governing People's Progressive Party, PPP, has dismissed these proposals as unrealistic. In his defense, Norton explained that expenditures aimed at raising personal and household incomes would constitute no more than 30% of the national budget in the first year, amounting to approximately $400 billion in new spending. Key components of his economic plan include $100 billion for salary increases, $40 billion to raise the tax-free threshold to $400,000 per month for over 200,000 workers and self-employed individuals, $53 billion to increase the old age pension from $41,000 to $100,000 per month for 74,000 pensioners, $9 billion for a student stipend program for tertiary institutions, $25 billion for a child care allowance program. The APNU coalition government will not shy away from investing in people, Norton asserted, viewing it as a moral and constitutional obligation to address the needs and expectations of citizens. He highlighted the stark contrast between Guyana's per capita GDP, comparable to that of the oil-rich United Arab Emirates, and the high poverty levels ranging from 35% to 42%. Norton expressed confidence in achieving key UN Sustainable Development Goals before the 2030 deadline, including poverty elimination, food security, equitable education, and promoting sustainable economic growth. He emphasized that the coalition's economic development plan would be data-driven, acknowledging the volatility of oil prices while advocating for economic diversification to ensure multiple revenue streams. Additionally, Norton criticized government corruption, stating, "Our programs will not be riddled with corruption as the PPPs are. With effective management, we can reduce corruption, allowing for more resources to benefit the Guyanese people." Looking ahead, Norton noted that the expansion of the oil sector presents greater opportunities to improve the lives of citizens, reinforcing his commitment to a well-managed government focused on the welfare of its people. AFC warns of potential chaos on nomination day. The Alliance for Change, AFC, is raising concerns that nomination day could lead to chaos and confusion if the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, does not clearly outline the procedures for presenting the lists of candidates. This presentation is scheduled for Monday at the Guyana between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. At a press conference, AFC leader Nigel Hughes expressed frustration over GECOM's lack of communication, stating that aside from the time and location, no additional information has been provided. He mentioned that a letter from the AFC seeking clarification has gone unanswered. If GECOM does not establish and publish what the procedures are, then the assumption is the person who gets there first is the one who will be registered as the first political party to hand in the list of candidates. This creates a significant problem, as a lack of clear procedures could lead to a chaotic rush, similar to what occurred in previous elections, Hughes warned. Hughes highlighted the concerns surrounding crowd control, noting that representatives from various political parties have begun camping out at Guyana. The AFC has stated it is second in line, following the APNU. Imagine thousands of supporters present in the morning, with the APNU and PPP's contingents literally next to each other. Without a clear procedure, there is a risk of a mad rush towards the Guyana. While the police have set up barricades, if those are breached in the absence of a procedure, it could lead to chaos, he said. Additionally, Hughes noted that representatives from the People's Progressive Party/Civic, PPP/C, are already claiming they are second in line, further complicating the situation. He urged GECOM to publish the procedures well in advance of the event to ensure a smooth process, emphasizing that over 20 parties are vying to contest the elections in September. Dr. Asha Kisun defends decision to retain National Assembly seat. Dr. Asha Kisun, who has faced backlash from her political partners for refusing to vacate her seat in the National Assembly, has expressed no regrets about her decision. In an interview with Newsroom, Dr. Kisun explained that her choice was motivated by feelings of being stonewalled and berated by those who were meant to support her. "I fought for my place in the National Assembly and kept it, arguing that to hand it over would have been dangerous," she stated, emphasizing that politics is not akin to a religious setting. Dr. Kisun articulated that her decision was validated by the fact that her potential replacement would have come from the Alliance for National Unity, ANUG, which has recently allied with Azruddin Mohammed, a figure who, along with his family and businesses, has been sanctioned by the United States. She clarified that she was neither paid nor coerced by the ruling People's Progressive Party, PPP, to retain her seat, asserting that the PPP's majority made her vote unnecessary for their agenda. Dr. Kisun's party, the New Movement, TNM, along with the Liberty and Justice Party, LJP, and ANUG, contested the 2020 general elections as a coalition. Despite their combined votes resulting in only one seat, they had initially agreed to rotate it. After LJP's Lennox Schumann served first, ANUG was to follow, but they allowed TNM to take the seat next, with Dr. Kisun serving as deputy speaker. However, she soon found herself lacking the promised support from her coalition partners in the National Assembly. "I would submit motions, bills, and other information but received no feedback," she lamented. The situation escalated when she was rebuked for voting without permission, prompting her to conclude that it was in the country's best interest for her to remain in her position. Dr. Kisun acknowledged that she broke the initial agreement but affirmed her satisfaction with her decision, stating, "I have accepted that I broke the agreement, but I am okay with the decision I made." She indicated that she would make the same choice again if faced with similar circumstances. Police Commissioner announces 29% reduction in serious crimes at annual awards ceremony. During the annual awards ceremony celebrating the Guyana Police Force's 186th anniversary, Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken announced a significant 29% reduction in serious crimes across the country. The event, attended by police officers and ranks from various divisions, was marked by a loud round of applause following this announcement. Commissioner Hicken attributed the decline in crime rates to proactive policing activities and social crime prevention initiatives implemented by the force. He proudly noted a clear-up rate of 62.1%, highlighting the effectiveness of these efforts. In a bid to enhance crime prevention, district intelligence units have been established within regional divisions to improve the force's capability to anticipate and respond to emerging trends and threats. While addressing traffic safety, Hicken acknowledged that traffic accidents, particularly fatal ones, remain a pressing concern. He reported a slight decrease in road accidents, which he linked to the strategic initiatives of the Traffic Department. Between January and May 2025, 889 e-tickets were issued through the Safe Road Intelligence Safety System, reflecting enhanced enforcement and smarter policing, he stated. The employment of speed cameras, real-time traffic monitoring, and data-driven interventions have reportedly improved compliance among drivers. Highlighting the importance of human capital development, Commissioner Hicken emphasized the force's commitment to training. From 2020 to 2025, over 10,500 ranks participated in 444 locally conducted training courses. Furthermore, 1,374 ranks received scholarships and sponsorships, while 697 successfully completed 110 overseas training programs. To strengthen institutional capacity and relevant learning, agreements have been signed with 24 academic institutions to ensure that ranks receive contemporary policing training. Assistant Commissioner of Police Mahendra Singh, the traffic chief, remarked on the significance of the 186th anniversary, celebrating the force's dedication to serving and protecting citizens. 186 years of continuous service is no small feat. It represents countless hours of duty, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment to the protection of our citizens, the preservation of public order, and the upholding of the rule of law, Singh noted. He concluded that the awards presented are not just symbols of recognition but also represent the collective efforts of all who serve under the banner of the Guyana Police Force.